Welcome everyone, it is John the Net Guy. Today we're working on a new project. This is a balsa wood airplane craft. Now, my son, Maverick, who is 7 years old right now, technically I guess he's 6, who is 6 going on 7 years old right now, loves airplanes, gonna love flying, I hope, like his dad does, but I wanted to try this out and I have a perfect tool for it today. This is a mini table saw. Not only that, it's a 3-in-1 tool that's going to allow me to do all sorts of cool construction in my workshop. Now I have massive tools in here, but they're just too big to work on the tiny balsa sheets that we're going to try today. Now, if you want to follow along, I'm going to have all the parts listed in the video description, as well as all the tools that you might want with this, including the free plans. Wow! So let's get started. First up are a set of balsa sheets. Now these are 12-inch by 12-inch by 1/16 of an inch. Now that's important. You don't want to get too thick of it because we're going to be making airplane wings out of them. And you also don't want to get too thin. So this is a great set here. Very good condition, very flat. That's the thing you're looking for. And very clean overall. For doing hobbies, balsa just can't be beat. Very lightweight, and there we go. This is a dozen, so it's a 12 pack of 12 by 12 sheets. You can see it there. Very good grain, very clear. There's a little, it's not even an imperfection, just gorgeous sheets here, and super light. There's 2 there I just picked up even. Very nice. A little tiny bit of dust on them, but not much at all. So we're going to use these. We're going to pick a nice one. Let's pick this one right here. Again, super straight. You can get these balsa sheets delivered to you from Amazon. Link will be in the video description. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this balsa sheet and I'm going to put our plans right on top of it. Now, if you had the time, you could technically glue these on here, but this is going to allow me to trace, using a knife, the plan right on top. So if I want to basically make this wing structure, I can cut down this wing, and this is just leaving a very small impression on the wood. Now, I'm not cutting through the wood, nor would I be able to with this little small knife all the way, but I'm giving myself something to work from. You can do this one part at a time, or you can choose to do more. Okay, perfect. Take my plans out of the way. There you can see this really faint line that I've created. Now, the next product we're going to get ready is our mini table saw. This thing is 3-in-1. It's a craft saw. You're going to have to use eye protection, hand protection, everything when you're using something like this. It is a dangerous tool, not for kids by any stretch of the imagination, but it is also very small and hobby size, which is perfect if you're using it indoors or maybe in a craft room. This is going to be kind of that upgraded craft room that you've got. There it is right there. This is going to be the detail tool. So this is very similar to a Dremel. That's one of the advantages. Looks like it's got a 105-piece grinding set. There's some polishing wheels in here, which I'm really excited to use. Looks like some sanding discs and some polishing paste as well. So lots of really cool options here if you're looking at using it as a tool for that. Now, as far as powering this goes, doesn't use much power. 90 watts is tiny. You could run that off of inverter. You could run that off of just about anything. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to plug this in. I'm going to slide this over. Power cord goes in on this side. I'm going to make sure everything is off. And this is rated for 110 or 240 volts. The output is 9.5 amps maximum output. Before we get started, we are going to have to put on safety glasses. And I'm going to put on some very oversized safety gloves as we're working with this tool. Don't need these ones this thick, but it's all I had handy. I'm going to try 2 things. One, I'm going to try the wheel. Great. Second, I'm going to try the saw. Excellent. Very quiet. That's actually much quieter than I expected here. I want to hide this blade, and it has a 1 inch roughly cutting value. We're going to take a double check on that. But for balsa, we don't need that much blade exposed. The less blade exposed you have, the safer it is in case you get an accidental cut there. Okay, and I'm going to just double check. The alignment is very nice on that blade. It is not at risk at all of wobbling or coming off from what I can tell. Now, I'm not using this fence to actually be a fence. I'm just using it for the acrylic safety guard. Because we're making a video here and we're going to use the guards that are given to us. Now, we started out making this airplane and I drew off of the plans a very light wing template. And I'm just going to use this saw to cut that out. It does say not to run both at the same time. Okay, so in there, it actually had almost a kickback, and that was because I was turning the wood. That was all on me. I was turning the wood when I shouldn't have, so, you know, definitely go only straight cuts with this blade. The other thing is if the blade was actually higher, it would make it a little harder to do that, and it would actually kick back less if the blade was up, but I have it at the lowest area for safety. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use this sanding area to clean up the edge. Now I noticed that the RPM on this is just way too fast. It's set to 24 volts here on this, and I can reduce it down and bring the RPM down because it's doing such a great job of sanding. Even at 600 grit, it's sanding very quickly through this. So let's do that. Much better. Now I'm not going to do the full shaping, but what I was going to tell you is that we want to actually shape the wings on this. So I would actually run it something like that with the sander, because I do want to shape overall. There we go, smooth it out. Not bad. Starting to build that wing up. Excellent. So that was the sanding side. Overall, I'm kind of impressed. This is a very small hobby saw. Very easy to use, very easy to set up. I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of these parts here, and then we're going to get to assembling this. Okay, just happen to have this cutoff piece that's perfect for a stabilizer. You know what? I am going to use a pen on this because I want to show you guys how this cuts and sands. Now the RPM does change here, so I've got it set to a lower RPM now. Only do straight cuts. It would actually be super nice if this had some sort of table like my continuous belt sander does over there. I would love to have some sort of nice table to sit there and shape and run this up against and have something, because right now it's a little bit on the small side, but for polishing, you know, that might work out pretty well. We'll see. Okay, so that's the next piece. Let's do the other wing and some other pieces. So we're going to make 2 each of these fuselage pieces. We can make ourselves a left wing. Make ourselves a fuselage stiffener. This looks like it goes underneath and helps to link all these parts together, which eventually we will be able to trim down, but we're going to start at full length here. And this is a piece to give the wings just a little bit extra. Now, I was able to print these plans out. If you want to print a copy of your own plans, you can do that. The link will be in the video description. And then we already got the right wing and we already have the stabilizer, so I'm going to put those over here. What's funny is this one is just about narrow enough that I could use the sander to make most of it. But I'm still going to use the saw. Okay. 1 fuselage piece down. This would be a great project with kids if you have. Takes a little bit more patience maybe than my 7-year-old especially could do on camera, but I plan to take him out here to the workshop and we will get to making more of these. And then he can experience the joy of gluing his fingers together like his dad did when he was a kid. Because we're going to use super glue to assemble this. Okay, there's the second fuselage piece. Now I have to remember, I'm trying to save material, but I'm also going to be making straight cuts with this. So I'm going to try to make as straight as possible. Now there's enough sheets here, 12 by 12 sheets, that you could actually make several of these models. So if you purchase this and you want to do this with multiple kids, maybe you want to do this kind of as a homeschool project, I think it'd be really awesome to come up with several of these. I'm going to make 2 more of these fuselage pieces. This is kind of the cab of the airplane. It needs to be a little heavier in front, so they did that by joining these pieces together. This would be a great project to do with my dad. I was also thinking if there was enough here that you could actually just kind of spray paint and make a neat outline. Just spray paint over the shadow of the pieces, and you kind of understand where they all go. We have a rudder and a fuselage stiffener. So anywhere I'm making a long straight cut, I can use this table saw. And I'm actually kind of excited to use the saw to help me notch these pieces as well. So this has a tiny little bit of dihedral, it's called, and that little piece for the wings is going to help it make an angle on those wings. It's kind of almost a bow tie with a flat bottom. And then I think this fuselage stiffener I'm going to be able to make out of any of these pieces over here. So realistically, I could cut kind of a line right along here to start out with. Okay, I'm actually going to remove this guard for this cut specifically because I'm doing a full-length sheet. Okay, that is all of the pieces that we need here on this project. And now I'm able to use the sander here and finish the cleanup of the remaining. Sucked up a bit of my plans, but luckily I have more printouts. I have a couple more of these to cut. The parts are coming along great. I'm gonna go ahead and cut just a couple more, and then we're gonna start assembling. This is my dust collection unit. That sanding was a little bit dusty, had to bring out the big guns. We are all set. That is the mini 3-in-1 table saw, sander, drill, and essentially detail tool. Now, I've said we're going to put this together real quick. I'll pull the instructions back out and you'll kind of see. Now, I'm not going to shape this one. This is going to be kind of our test fit mock-up to show the power of this little tiny tool, using the sander, using all the components that it has in it. But we're going to throw this together real quick, and to do that, we're going to need thin CA glue. Let's try to pronounce this. Cyanoacrylic. Let's call it CA glue. Now, CA glue comes in different thicknesses. There's thin, there's medium, and then there's heavy. And they all are for different purposes. So in this case, the medium is kind of right in between. That's the sweet spot here. It's going to have a little tiny droppers for us to put them in seams. So this is a kit available on Amazon. This is from Loctot, medium, high performance, 10 to 15 seconds setting time. So if we're holding these together, we can do that for 10 to 15 seconds. Now, I don't know about you, but I tend to super glue my fingers together nearly all of the time. So to help prevent that today, I am actually going to wear gloves because I don't want to have my fingers stuck together all night. So this is the fuselage, both left and right sides. How close are we? We're pretty darn close. After we glue these together, we may use a little bit of tune-up on here. So fuselage part 1 and part 2. So I'm going to go ahead and use the medium multi-purpose CA glue. I'm going to set a nice bead there that we can follow. I'm going to set this piece on top of it. Let's set a 10 to 15 second setup time. Now, if that wasn't enough time, there's some tricks that you can do. Now, baking soda is one of my favorites, especially if you're doing 3D printed parts. Baking soda can really drastically increase the speed at which it dries, stiffens it right away, and it also has a tendency, believe it or not, to make it even stronger. So your thin CA becomes super strong. So what I'm doing here is I am notching the tail where it says we need it to be notched. So I'm going to draw some lines for some notches. This is our first prototype. This is our test one. So this is part 1. This is part 2, which we made 2 of, and I'm going to go ahead and use more of that CA glue. You know, I almost wish these bottles were a little bit thicker. They're super thin, which makes them great from a packaging perspective, I'm sure. Tell it's already starting to fuse up. I'm getting CA glue on my gloves, but not on my fingers, thank goodness, or my beard. Okay, so those two are together now. We're gonna leave that there for a second. So I'm just kind of laying these out roughly where they go so we know which ones we have. Okay, there's my wing joiner piece that goes right here. This one we're going to have to be really careful with because this is such a detailed one. It's going to be hard to cut that on the saw. I couldn't sand it, so just needs to roughly match that. That's for that wing dihedral, and we'll set that. So that goes right there. We've got our rudder piece here, and you can shape that how we may. Whether we whittle this. Balsa is so forgiving. That's awesome. Now, did I forget to make the fuselage stiffener? It looks like I did. That's that piece that goes right there. I'll find the closest thing to that. So much easier with the saw. Makes me miss using it. So, because I just need one tiny little piece, this balsa ply, not as forgiving as it could be. Okay, so there we go. We've got our fuselage. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark where on these. Yeah, they're already sticking to my plans. I'm going to mark where on these we need notches. So we're going to make these notches on the saw as well. So that's one notch. That's for the wing stiffener there, the second notch. Stabilizer, I already kind of did the notches there. The wing, pretty deep notch. And the rudder has a little notch in it, looks like. Be interesting to see how that works. Okay, I'm going to use this for notching, but what I'm going to do is I'm not going to bring the blade up beyond that. So to adjust this, one, make sure you're always unplugged when you're going to adjust this. I'm going to use the large size, and I'm going to take this down. So I'm going to take the blade down in depth until I get roughly to the depth of the notch that I want, which is right there. So I'm going to come down just a hair more. Perfect. Okay, so that's where I want to be. Safety glasses. And go ahead and plug it in. Okay, so that's the notch, the depth that I want for that notch. Now, at this final assembly stage, we're going to use a lot of glue, and it's going to take a few passes at this to get it right, I believe. I think we got this. So first things first, we're going to put that joint into the fuselage. This is for the wing stiffener, the wing joiner. We're going to bring the wings down. Now, I've cut these a little bit deep, it looks like, but we're going to go a little bit more shallow on this joiner. You know what I did? I glued these two together, and technically I want them apart because I want one on each side. And let's see if that CA has already adhered, which I think it has. Unfortunately, now we have a very strong piece of something we can't use. I'm going to have to cut two more of those real quick. To get the dihedral on the wings set properly, I'm going to bring the middle of this up. Doesn't have to be super aggressive, it just has to be even on both sides. So let's take a quick look here, and the wing joiner is just to give it extra strength. Now if you use super thin CA glue, this might be too thin and it may not take. But with this, with these very fine tips, I can come in here and put a bead, and then it'll join together. Really do like this fine tip for doing model assembly like this. I really think that is a key, and it is making it super easy to get it right where I want it. So kudos on that. Technically, after we get that assembled, they want us to trim down that center wing spar anyway, that wing joiner. So I think that looks good. I do think my wings are off a little bit top to bottom, so I'm going to get a little bit more on this one downward. I don't want it to like constantly be in a turn. Another trick you can do, this is from Bob Smith Industries. It's the InstaSet 2 fluid ounce. It is a spray. So if you're trying to get CA glue to set and you need it to set super fast, one spray like that, one spritz is enough. Now what they also say is you can come back through and do another layer now. So once you do that, it's almost instantaneous. You can put another wing amount here because that's almost instantly hardened it. And then once you have that, one more spray. And there, other than having a pen cap on it, is our airplane. We're going to put the tail on. And that is the Bob Smith Industries hardener. Just use that BSI hardener, and that is how quick it is. So there you go. This is our airplane. We made it entirely with this 3-in-1 tool. It has an adjustable RPM, has a safety guard you can use. It has a router fence that you can use to adjust the angle here, or sorry, miter fence, sorry, that you can adjust the angle. We didn't use that piece today. Maybe we could have. Definitely plenty of power in this motor. Even at the lowest settings, I wasn't sawing it out, cutting here. At the higher settings, it had no problem cutting through the wood. I do like all the accessories. We got 3 different blades other than this one, so 4 total cutting discs. So we've got a cutting disc for, you know, abrasive like metal if you want. So this is going to be an aluminum oxide disc, which is one. We have a carbide tipped disc, which would be great for up to 1-inch plywood. You could use this for heavy duty stuff, thicker things that you want to use a carbide tip for. Has a diamond blade here for cutting ceramics, which is awesome. So comes with tons of stuff. I'm actually going to do some polishing later with this thing. I'll a second part 2 video, but I'm kind of interested in how to use the drill and how to use the fine detail attachment that it has here. This has been John the Net Guy. Thanks for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing if this thing can fly.